Due to short platforms, passengers for West Drayton, Tilehurst, Pangbourne, Goring and Streatley and Cholsey should board the front 7 coaches. Change at front 7 coach services to change at front 7 coach services to change a security announcement reminding passengers to keep a watchful eye on their luggage and personal belongings at all times. Unattended luggage at all times. Unnecessary security. Unattended luggage at all times. Unnecessary security. Unattended located on platform 12 with opening hours between 0700 and 2300 hours. Please be aware that opportunist thieves operate at this station and across the railway network. Do not become a victim of crime. Please also note that in the interests of safety, cycling, skateboarding and rollerblading are not permitted anywhere on the station.
Hello and welcome to Briar Gaming. Today we're going up and down the Great Western Mainline. Just gonna literally jump on services as they arrive and go backwards and forwards between Reading. It'll be a reasonably short stream this afternoon, but you should see that the time of the clock and the time in real life are pretty much synced together. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump on this HST, see what time the service is due out. It's always fun when the train has got nothing to do until 12 o'clock. So yeah, we will just sit and chill on the service, get it all prepped and ready before we head on our way down. So don't forget, people, if you've got any questions or queries, drop them in the chat and I shall do my best to answer you. For those of you that don't know, my real life job is on the railway. It is driving, and I'm here to answer any questions you may have. So we just check that the tail lights are on, because I know this game has a lovely habit of not putting anything on the rear when you turn them on at the front. So head down to the back and check. There's also a good way to check that the power car's operational. I think there's some smoke coming out the top there, yep. But there you go, you see what I mean? No tail lights on, which is always handy. So now there should be 2 red lights. Yes, there we go. So close the door, lock and secure that. Get back up the front and enable the doors to allow people to get on and off this 12 o'clock service that we will take as far as Reading. Whoopsie-daisy. Here we go. Doors are unlocked. So just check that we've got our daylight headlights on. Yes, we have. Close the door, but what we'll do is we'll go to free cam, whoopsie-daisy, and we'll just go and see what's about. Go for a little fly around. Go over the road bridge. It's very quiet for Paddington though at midday. Well, it's a long time, isn't it, when you're waiting? 7 minutes. What locomotive power car have we got for this service? 43020. Well, 166 came in on the hurry up. It's nearly time to take this Intercity 125 out and about. So what we'll do is we will just begin to release the brakes. Just hold them on initial. Reverser is in forward, throttle is idle, so we're not going to go rolling our way. Now, like I say, when we get to Reading, we will look to bring something back and keep going backwards and forwards for the remainder of the stream. If anybody wants to see anything in particular, just give me a shout. Just 2 more minutes. Just check there's nobody on the platform, because we're going to have to close the doors in a moment. So we still have a red signal at the end of the platform. So the signaller isn't going to let us run early. But we are a passenger train, so we don't get to run early. Right, so we've got a minute to go. So let's lock the doors. Right, so 15 seconds, still got a red signal. But here we go, midday is approaching. Right, oh, we're racing the train next to us. We've got a red, so he's going first. He arrived after us, but he's going first. So we've still got a red at the end of the platform there. So even though we've just rolled towards it, we're not going to be going anywhere for a moment. Release the brake off into throttle position 1 and we'll just creep towards that red. Hopefully so we've got some momentum going, so when it clears, there we go, single yellow, and away we go. So the speed limit from this point is 40 miles an hour, but we cannot get to 40 miles an hour until the last carriage of our train has passed that board. And from the fact that the next signal in theory should be red, but that other train should now be way out the way. So we'll throttle up and aim to get up towards the line speed. Right, we're on to greens now, so we are at line speed of 40, so we just throttle off and coast, because we can't go any faster because the line speed doesn't allow us to, but the signalling also doesn't allow us to because we have a single yellow in front of us, because this is 3 aspect railway, this bit coming out of Paddington. Right, but we can see the green and then we can see the single yellow further ahead, so we're at 40 miles an hour, so we just coast along as the track is now flat. So we've just hit the 50 mile an hour. On the left hand side you'll see a preliminary route indicator which indicates that we are going straight ahead, we're not going across here or further down the line. Right, so we're at the 50, the last carriage is clear. So now we'll just accelerate that. Hey Radar, welcome to the stream. Watching me play choo-choos. If you could let me know the quality and everything, my man, as this is the first time I've streamed in an absolute age on a new PC setup and everything. That'd be great. So as you can see, we're now on 2 yellows, which is a 4-aspect signalling system, which means we can go a little bit faster in a minute. Excellent, thank you Radar. Yeah, I'm just trying to tweak the bit rate at the moment. Are the voice and the audio and game audio and everything alright? Right, so the line speed is now 100 miles an hour, but we are on restrictive aspects, but we're on 2 yellows, so we can still accelerate, aiming for the line speed, as now it's stepped up to green. So we are now on the down main line, heading out of London. If we were going towards London, we'd be on the up main. And then there's the slow lines, which are known as the relief lines, the up and down reliefs on this part of the railway, and heading out towards Reading. So we're heading towards some more restrictive signalling. I'll be glad when they fix that audio bug, because that is annoying. Restrictive aspect signalling again. So let's go back to excellent. So we are following that train that left just in front of us. You'd watch a tutorial by me. Well, it's because I do it for my day job, don't I? So I'm just going through what I do at work, but just not as fast. I've never been this fast driving a train before. 75 is the most I can do on mine. I'm just going to have to throttle off a little bit here, because we are catching that one in front. Because as you could tell there, the signal didn't go up to green as we approached it, which means we're getting a bit quicker than the one in front, because we're both express trains. So in theory we should be doing the same sort of speed, but the computer that's driving that one then will be up his backside. We'll be doing a fluxy, tapping them. Yes, I would be in the wrong job if I didn't know what I was doing. Hopefully this train in front's not stopping at Slough, because otherwise we're gonna, yeah, we need to put some brakes in. Getting a little bit too close now. Back to 2 yellows, so just keep it at 80 I think, until we start getting greens again, and then we'll power up. So I've upped the bit rate again, Radar. Is it still smooth? Ricky O'Reilly driver, get your foot down. Oh, right. That's worrying. So you've watched my videos on YouTube then? Ah, I see. Right, we're on to greens. So he's now he's opened up the throttle, so we'll open up the throttles the same now. Boy, the sound of that engine. So this locomotive, this train, for a better word, is what's called a Class 43 high-speed train. So on it you have two what they call power cars. One at either end, which are driving vehicles. So you have an engine in there, and then you have an engine all the way at the back. Normal practice would be to turn the front one off so it was quiet and off, but into a mode where it didn't accelerate up and you push yourself up. But unfortunately this game makes it so that you have both of them. It gets a bit noisy, so we go in the cab for a little while. Through Ealing Broadway, 1973. There was a crash here. A Class 52 Western derailed, pulling an express to Oxford, killing 10 people, as I learned today by listening to Signals to Danger podcast. Right, that's 100 miles an hour. These trains can operate safely to 125 miles an hour on this piece of railway. So fingers crossed we'll get up there soon. That's Hayes and Harlington Aggregates Depot just on the right hand side there. So it wouldn't have been Ealing Broadway, that would have been Hayes and Harlington, for those paying any sort of attention. So it looks like that driver ahead of us has now decided that he is going to accelerate away and give us a bit of room. Well, it's a podcast about railway accidents, Radar, and I use it as a learning tool really, because the bloke that does it, Dan, gives you a really good insight as to what the accident investigation branch of the British Railways found was the cause of them. So I'm using it as a learning tool to learn out what's going wrong, or what could go wrong, as a Class 166 goes past us there. Right, so you guys can't see what's just popped off on my screen, but I have now driven this train for 1,000 miles. Give it a little toot-toot. Yeah, it's called Signals to Danger, Radar. It's on Spotify, well, all podcast programs, and it's really, really good. He's done about 12 episodes now, and they're about an hour long. So, he has a website as well. Yes, I know my own chat rules. I believe that's the website. If not, if you put signals to danger in Spotify on the podcast bit, it will show up. Alright, we're approaching 120 miles an hour now. Oh, we're back onto restrictive signals though. There we go, there's the 2 yellows. So we'll just throttle off and put a little bit of brake in, just so that we don't go barreling through these and end up on a red and having to brake hard. Right, so we're back onto green. So we want to be probably aiming for about 110 mile an hour to allow that train to keep plodding along in front. Probably about 110 is going to give us 2 yellows all the way down as another HST goes past us. So Dovetail Games, the maker of Train Sim World 2, are bringing out a 1970s pack for this route, which will give you, the player, all the old British Rail blue and grey liveries, along with some other bits and pieces that they haven't said yet, which I'm hoping is Class 50s. Mark 1s and 2s coaching stock, because that will be fun. Still be the same bit of Paddington to Reading, but in the 70s. So it'd be interesting to see how they change everything to take us back in time. See the rear of the train as we're hurtling along at 111. So we are back on greens. Right, let's step it up a notch. Let's aim for 125. Let's see if we can get to 125. You can hear the whine of the power car starting up as we take the power again. Keep it in, we'll keep the throttle in. Oh, it's gone to green. It used to be radar. Because of the way the British Railways was designed, all of these tracks that you see here have been around since the 1800s. So in the 70s, when they decided what high-speed rail was, 125 mile an hour was considered high speed. It's not anymore, because you've got things like what's called High Speed 1 that goes from Kent to London and into the Channel Tunnel, where you can do speeds of up to 320 kilometres an hour. That's high-speed rail now. You've got High Speed 2 currently being built, which will connect London to Birmingham, Manchester, Leeds, which will also be 320 kilometres an hour, which is more continental style railway. Right, we're going to have to throttle off because again we've got yellow aspects coming up and I wasn't really paying attention because I was talking about high speed. Right, we're on 2 yellows again now, so we better put some brake in because I think we're catching him up again. green, release the brakes, take some power. Going uphill now. So radar, it's telling me that the stream is currently an unstable. Is it buffering for you or jittering or anything? Okay then, I will ignore what Twitch is telling me. I'm not dropping any frames, so I shall carry on as is. Right, so we're now 8.6 miles from Reading. This is an uphill section as we climb out of the Thames Valley. Short signal section. Signal section now. Baffling. Better put some power back in, else we're going to stop going up the hill. Again, 2 yellows. Stepped up to a green. But I'm not going to put all the power back in now. I'm just going to get us to 100 and we'll just cruise towards Reading, because we have to slow down at about 2 miles outside of Reading, just because of the way the track is quite slow there. Oh, I missed a follow, thank you very much. R3DS41FT for the follow, much appreciated. But the great thing about this game, Radar, is if you've never played it or anything, there is a 24-hour timetable that runs as long as you've got the game running. So trains will run 24 hours a day, and you can actually find that timetable online and see where things go from and to if you want to drive them. And that's the same for all of the routes that they do, which I will cover this week because I'm off a fair big chunk of this week, so there will be daily streams from the railway. So tomorrow will probably be East Coastway, which is a section of railway in Sussex on the south coast. Alright, we've got 2 yellows, we're now on approach to Reading, so we do need to start to slow down. Because in the top right hand corner you'll see in 2 miles we have a 95 mile an hour speed limit. But that 95 mile an hour is very short and it then goes into a 60. We're at 95 now, so we'll just coast because we're on aspects that aren't green. So I will apologise in advance, I can't remember which platform we head into at Reading on this service, but there is a bug that means the brakes will automatically apply as you go in to Reading station on a certain platform. I think it's on platform 9, and that could cause us to just stop, and then I'll have to wait for them to release to go forward. Right, we've got a single yellow coming up, so start to apply the brakes. Probably going to need a little bit more than what we've got going on. Oh, we don't want that much. We want to get down towards 60 miles an hour. The signal's now cleared. So we're going towards a single yellow. Now, the rule of thumb is when you're going towards yellow signals in the freight industry, which is what I drive, you want to be doing 60 mile an hour at 2 yellows and 30 mile an hour at the single yellow. And that's only because the brakes that we have on a freight train are not as good as the brakes on a passenger train. Now, the brakes on a passenger train are... They're disc brakes, so the brake pad applies straight onto the wheel, whereas on a freight train all of the wagons have blocks, so the blocks apply to the wheel instead of directly onto the running surface instead of onto the wheel blade, so you don't slow down as quick with a freight train. Although I challenge anybody that says I can't stop really quickly, because I have. Obviously I'm not doing 100 miles an hour though. So. Alright, so here we go, we're on approach now to our destination stop. Just make sure we're doing 30 mile an hour, because we're going across there. As you can see, we are going to be onto a diverging route, which is a 20 mile an hour speed limit across the points. Yeah, we don't do 100 mile an hour on a freight train yet. There's meant to be talks of it coming in with new stuff on the railway, but we shall see. Right, so you saw at that last signal there was a line of white lights pointing to 11 o'clock, which is called route indicator 1, which means that point work that you see right in ahead of us is going to take us off to the left hand side. It's 50 mile an hour across here, but I don't trust it. So we go nice and gently across. We're running early anyway, so it's not a problem to go slower than what is advised to. But we are going towards a red signal, so we don't want to be going too fast. So there's the other train that we followed down. He's just in the platform to our right hand side. You'll probably just see him in a second, unless he's pulling away. Yeah, there he is. That's what we followed down. Gently gliding towards the stops, where we will then open the doors and allow the passengers to get off. We don't want to open the doors while we're moving. It's just asking for trouble. That's close enough to the signal for me. Unlock the doors on the right hand side. There we go. First service of the day completed. We'll now find something to take us back to Paddington. With that annoying audio bug. doors. And there we go, we've just got the screen to say how well we did or how well we didn't do. But yeah, I think we did pretty well there. Right, return to free roam. We now will get out and let the computer take that forward because we are at the end of the route that we can drive. That train's heading away as well. So what we want to do is we want to go up the stairs and head across to some of the other platforms. But this is Reading Station. This is the new Reading Station. Completely refurbed. Hopefully those two trains will decide that they're going to head off in just a second. Ooh. So while I find out what time a train is that we can do, just have a look out the window. There you go, you see it's powering away. I am struggling to find out when a train is next going to be at Reading for us to take back, because I cannot find the timetable because it's been removed from where it used to be hosted. So we'll have a quick look on Google and see. Let's see if this works. Okay, timetable mode. The timetable can be accessed here. That's annoying because it's not particularly great. So, what's the time in the game? 12:33. So the next one is at 12:45. I think is what that time layout's not particularly good. Oh, audio bugs. Yes, I think it's not a very good timetable, that one. There used to be a printable one, and I cannot find it. Let's have a little look. Reading, 158 services. God, that audio bug is horrific. Sorry, folks. Can't actually get rid of it. Because it's... There we go. Why hasn't that one moved yet? I wonder if this is the one back. Let's have a little jump in the front and see, shall we? Which way is it going? It's going away from us. There we go. Whoops, a daisy. Time to free roam. Ah, this is a better one. Gives us some idea of where we need to be for the next services. It's a very slow website though. Okay. Right, well in theory we've got nothing for 20 minutes. Oh, that's going to be a boring wait. Yeah, because we've missed the 2 Papa 47, which is 12:18. And the next one is 2 Papa 50, platform 14 to Paddington platform 10. So we'll head over to 14 now. We'll wait, I suppose. But again, it gives you a good opportunity to ask me any railway related questions. This is 14. Have I gone too far? Yeah, gone too far. So again, in an update, these will all work as well. These destination boards, which will give you the time and where the train is going. Because at the moment, there isn't anything, although it's in the newer routes. So we'll be driving a 2 Papa, so it'll stop about here. Because it could be a 2 or a 3 car train. Doopy-doopy-doo. Seems to be the perfect bit rate. Now in real life, Reading is not this quiet. Needs more services. Or we should have done it in rush hour. I tried to do it as close to the real time that I'm streaming as possible. Which I think we're doing. 11:39. Oh, 12:39. Yep, 12:39 on the game clock. Right. While we're waiting for this train to arrive, I'm just going to nip off for a second. Stream will carry on running, but I'll be right back. Right, I'm back. Well, the railway is very empty at the moment. Not many trains running up and down. Nothing between us and Slough. Oh no, what's that one? No, just a figment of my imagination. So you've got two Class 166s sitting over in the depot sidings and the carriage sidings. We could walk down there and see what services they are, but then again we might not get back in time. Well, we've got 15 minutes, we might as well head off down there and see if any of them is our train, although it's quite a walk. And I do not advocate this. Oh, safety sign added. Yes, but keep off the tracks, people. Don't just go wandering off down the end of a platform ramp to go and find a train. And always walk in a safe place if you ever go on the railway. But remember, it is against the law in the United Kingdom to go walking along the railway without permission or holding the relevant trackside certification. public service message for the day done. So just round this corner are the carriage sidings. See, here we go. So we just need to remember we got to be back on platform 14 in 12 minutes. But we could, one of these could be the train that we want. So if we climb up, just jump in the seat. No, that's a 2 o'clock train. So we don't want that one. And that's the 1309, so we don't want that one either. So R1 is a train that is already in service coming from somewhere to go to London Paddington. But while we're here, we'll just have a quick chat about what these are. So these are Class 166s. They are a turbo diesel engine, which is in there somewhere, just there. They're 3-car units. They do come in 2-car units as well, and that's known as a 165. And yeah, they're being phased out slowly but surely, as they have electrified this part of the line. So you get electric trains on along here now, and not just diesels. This is called a ground position light. That means stop, and that one there and that one there will turn white, which means proceed. But it means that the signal ahead of you could be at danger, so proceed at caution. Now, we've been streaming for an hour and I've only done one train so far. Apologies people, one must research timetables better, so it's a little bit busier. So let's go back to platform 14, as that train is 10 minutes away now. Is it 12:56 I said? I think so. So this is what they call a main aspect signal with a theatre box. So that up there will display which platform number the train has been cleared to go on, and would normally display a single yellow aspect on here with the number in there, which would then tell the driver which platform he was going in, or she was going into, on the line ahead. This little plate here is called a signal identification board or plate, and it gives the drivers and the guards and anybody that works on the railway a unique identification number for this, which when they ring the signalling team at the Thames Valley Signalling Control Centre, I think it is for Reading, that this signal has got a problem, or it's at red and it shouldn't be at red. Why is it at red? And then the signal will know instantly where it is on his or her control panel, and they can then rectify any faults with it, or give you permission to pass it at danger. That's a point motor. That will change the points there, as you can see. It could be set to go off on the left hand side, which is an unfinished bit of railway on this particular version of Reading, or we can send you straight ahead and click across using that motor there, which is attached to that signal. This is an AWS magnet, so those beeps that you heard as we were coming up to yellow and red signals has a magnet which is just there, which when armed, when a train passes over it, there is another magnet underneath, and it creates a circuit, and bing, you get the alert. If it's off, you get like a ding, and when it's on, you get a buzzer type sound, which I'll point out in the next journey up to London. It's a safety system. Go over that when it's armed and you're not supposed to, or you don't cancel it, it will stop the train, which is what actually this is. This is called a TPWS grid. So in the cab, when you go over, it's back to front, this one. I'm not sure why. I think that's for that signal up there. I don't sign this road, so I'm not entirely sure. So coming along here, and this is at red, this is a magnet that would be armed, and it would send a instruction to the train's braking system to automatically apply the automatic brakes because you've gone through that signal at red. Again, it's to stop trains from going out onto this part of the railway, which is the main line, or this is the reliefs at Reading. But yeah, it would stop you from going through this junction out onto the main line from the sidings, because you shouldn't be doing any more than 10 or 15 mile an hour depending on the line speed. Yeah, so that's a TPWS grid. Speed indication board, 15 mile an hour into the sidings, 40 mile an hour now on the running line. That's for the line where the red is at the minute, and this one, if you were on this line, and well, it's actually applicable to both lines, so 25 mile an hour over the crossing of the points just here. So you can only do maximum of 25 mile an hour over that crossing, otherwise you're going to possibly derail and end up in a whole world of pain with lots of paperwork to fill out. Right, so back up to the other end of the platform, because hopefully that train will be here shortly, and we will be able to get on our way back up to Paddington and actually give you guys something to watch instead of me running around talking absolute drivel. Absolutely deader than a dodo, this place. I've never known Reading to be so quiet. So the service that arrives at 12:56 is a stopping service into Paddington, and it's going to take us 57 minutes. So we'll do that one, and then I'll probably end up going and having some lunch and coming back and doing a little bit more of a stream this afternoon. So let's see if we can see where our train is on the map. Here it comes. Here it comes. Trundling in. So we'll be taking over this train in service, and then that driver will be going off to have the break. You're a 3-car, stop. Right. Just open the doors. Hello boss, I'm your relief. How you get? What do you mean I don't have permission to drive this service? I think I do, mate. I'm not driving the other one. Oh, we're going to have to wait a minute while the game plays silly buggers. While we're here though, we need to turn that on, turn that on. Turn that on. So I'm guessing, because it's a 12:56 departure, we can't technically jump in, there we go, until 12:55. Let's put a little bit of brake in, just so we're... So we can't go anywhere until 12:56. Headlights are on day. Yep. Train lighting is on. Don't need any of that on. All safety systems are on. Right. So the doors are locked anyway. Right, so off to Twyford we go. Right, 57 minutes of driving this little passenger train. Got 6 minutes to get up to Twyford. So we're about to get 90-mile-an-hour speed restriction now for the permanent way. Right, and away we go. Now we are on the up relief line, as it is known. Then the next one to us is the down relief, and then you've got the up main and the down main, the other two over to the others, to the right hand side. But again, signalling just outside of Reading is bi-directional, so you can go both ways on both lines. But now we're on single, well, we can only go one direction on this one. That is in the up direction, because if I refer to the up direction on an English route, that means we're going towards London or a particular city. Speed now, full throttle towards Twyford. Now we will probably power off at around about 1.5 miles from the station. We'll just begin to slowly bring our speeds down. so that we don't overshoot the platform. So as you can see, the maximum speed of this unit is 90 miles an hour. So it probably can go faster, but we won't want to try. Right, so we're 1.5 miles from the station. So we throttle to 0. And we just apply a little bit of brake just to start to slowly scrub our speed off on approach. The speed's coming down nicely. We'll probably have to put a little bit more on as we get to the end of the platform, just so that we're obeying the stopping points. We're just going to release the brake because the brakes are actually quite good. They've brought us down to 35 miles an hour. Now Twyford is a bay platform station. On the left hand side there is a bay platform which goes off onto a branch line to the left, and you can go on the branch line from the main line, but the game doesn't have that included, so we won't be going off on that at any point. So we want to be aiming for the 2 to 3 car stop board. Well, this has an S board, which means all trains must stop at that sign. Got a little bit past it. That doesn't have to be exact. So we arrived on time. Wrong button. Quite a long dwell time at this station, as nobody's getting on or off. Right, Maidenhead. Right, doors are closed. Power on. Right, we want to get up to speed as quickly as possible, because we've got 7 miles to go in 7 minutes. Challenge accepted. So like I say, if anybody's got any questions or queries or wants to know anything about these particular units, about my job as a driver of freight trains or anything like that, just give me a shout and I'll gladly answer the questions if I can. let's have a little look at the map, see if we've got anything coming down towards us. Ah, yeah, there's a HST coming towards us at the moment. So we should see that train in just a moment come barreling in the other direction. There it is. So we are at maximum power now. And we're going downhill as well, but we're not accelerating as quickly as one would hope. Sorry for the silence there, just a couple of work emails that needed to be looked at. Not applicable to me though. Woohoo! Always what you want to see. Right, we're now approaching the maximum speed for this unit of 90. However, we are approaching a 75 mile an hour speed restriction before we get to Maidenhead. So, right, at 90 mile an hour, so we just throttle off, so we don't want to go over that limit. Just keep ourselves at notch 3 of 7. And get rid of that horrible audio clicking noise. Changing the camera. So, welcome to the new viewers. Please don't be shy. Let's interact on chat. Right, that's our notification that the line speed is dropping from 90 to 75. Because it's a reduction of quite some significance, you do get a warning that it is going to be dropping. And we're at 75 now, half a mile away from the actual restriction. So we're just coast, but we're also a mile and a half from Maidenhead, which, as we know, we throttle off when we get to a mile and a half and coast. And then when we get to a mile, we apply our brakes. Right, there we go, mile, so brakes on. On the lightest possible setting, there's a 75 mile an hour warning board. The MU means multiple unit, that's what we're driving, a multiple unit. And you would have seen another speed there, 60. That's for freight and all other trains. Building site. Just give them a bit of toot on the horn, make sure everybody's clear. Again, we're going to have to ease off the brakes because they're a lot better than they used to be in this unit. Right, again, so we're now approaching Maidenhead, which again has another branch line. Off to the left-hand side of where we're running in now, there is another platform, which you can just see coming into view just over there. But that does lead off onto another branch line, again, we don't go anywhere near that. Oh, there's a fellow service. This is Maidenhead. Again, for those of you that actually play this game that are watching, there is some fantastic services from Paddington to Maidenhead, which is like a rush hour shuttle service, which I do highly recommend. You go London Paddington, Maidenhead, Maidenhead to Paddington, Paddington to Maidenhead, and it takes about an hour and a half, 2 hours, but you get to go up and down a few times, weaving in and out of traffic, in inverted commas, on the railway. So again, we arrived on time. Now we turn our driver reminder appliance on, because what we don't want to do is leave or accidentally apply power while the doors are still open. So the signal is green, but I've put this on so that we don't speed off with the doors open. So we're approaching our departure time. Right, so we need to go back into the cab because I can't take this off from the outside. And away we go. Notch 3 to pull away. As soon as you get up to about 7 to 8 miles an hour, apply up to notch 6, and when you get to 15, full power. So we've got another 5 miles to go and 5 minutes to do it. So again, getting up towards 60 miles an hour. When we get to 64 miles an hour, if you listen closely, there'll be a change in the engine note as the gear changes. Ready? 63 to 64, so that means the transmission on the train has decided to change so it can achieve higher speeds. On an electric locomotive or unit, that would be called transition, where the motors switch from series to parallel or parallel to series. As we're on a diesel, it's just changing gear. Out for a station. Little toot at the horn just to keep people back, make them aware, but it's a quiet platform. Nobody at Taplow today. I think that's Taplow. I think we're a semi-fast into Paddington on this one. Right, 3 miles to go. I think we're making good time. Approaching our limit again of 90. Oh, another station. Oh, one passenger. That's the DSD going off, the driver safety device, to make sure we're still alert and paying attention. That's the AWS to let us know that this signal is green. Right, it's going to start to throttle off as we're reaching 90. Completely take the throttle out now, 1.5 miles. The natural friction of the wheels and the rail will start to slow us down ever so slightly. And we just start to apply a little bit of brake as we approach Slough. We're arriving early into Slough, so we'll have a little bit of a pause. Just easing off, coming off the brakes, coasting into Slough, otherwise we'll be stopped short. We don't want that. Now again, Dovetail Games are talking about enabling more starting and stopping points at Slough, because as we come into the platform here, if you look over to the left, there is a bay platform, and I think they're going to introduce Slough to Paddington stoppers. Because it looks like a lot of people are waiting for a train there. It will never come at the moment. They're just waiting for a train that doesn't exist. Wallies. Again, turn on the D. RA. Get out and stretch our legs because we've got a minute or two. Oh, we can't jump up. There's no jump up block. We have to quickly run around and get that while we're here. Got time. Safety sign number 2 out of 25 added. Anything through here? Nope. Get back in. Close our door. Lock the passenger doors. Door interlocking has come on.
Please remain behind the yellow line at all times. Trains pass through the station at high speed and can cause turbulence.
Okay, we will stand behind the yellow line. Right, away we go. Notch 3 of power. Till we get to about 7 or 8. Up to 5. Then we get to 15 to 20, up to 7, and away we go. full speed ahead. Now the line speed has changed to 60 at the moment for all trains, but we're about to go back to 90. But we've only got 2 miles to go until we go to Langley. So we're 1.5 miles from the station. We'll power off. Now as you see, we only got up to 60 mile an hour there, so we won't brake at our normal braking points because we're not going as fast. Start to apply the brakes now because it's just round the corner ahead. Again, when we get to 30, we'll just release off the brakes and continue to coast because we are going uphill. So we just quickly go front camera, get rid of that awful buzzing. Alright, so as we hit the platform ramp, I shall reapply the brakes. By the platform ramp, I mean that bit there with the black. But a little bit hard on the braking there, and we have overshot our marker, but again, turn on our driver reminder appliance. Again, we got a little bit of a dwell time here because we are running very, very, very early on the old timetable. We use that for a little bit of drone action. Turn our DRA off, lock the left hand doors, go back onto the drone camera and wait for our departure time. Alright, here we go. Oh, we've got a short trip to Ivor. power up the line towards Ivor. It's only a short little hop, but the timetable is quite tight, so we don't want to be going too slow because we will arrive late, and we've done well to keep to time or early so far. Right, we're at a mile, 60 mile an hour. We'll throttle off, but when we apply the brakes this time, we're going to go to notch 2 on the braking system because the timings and the distances are so tight. Right, so we go to notch 1. Get a little bit closer to the station, we'll go to notch 2. Because as you can tell, the brakes on these units are exceptionally good. I think we might have to release the brakes here. Yeah, I'm just going to release them. Roll in. Yep, so we've released the doors. Light there indicates that the doors are unlocked and are open. Again, we arrived early. I must admit, it's the first time I've arrived early on these sorts of stopping services for a while. I wonder where we're stopping next. Right, off we go. We're straight. Mile and a half in 2 minutes. Let's get a move on. This will be a test to see if we can do it. Right, 60 mile an hour again, and we will just throttle off because again the stopping between the stations is a little bit shorter. We are going to be late now. 30 seconds. I don't think we're going to get to the platform and get stopped in time, but With the amount of passengers have been getting on and off, I think we're alright. I don't think it's going to be 8 deep at this station. Yeah, we're going to have to wait for ages. Ooh, coming in a bit hot. Ooh, that woman just walked out of the wall then. Lizard person. So again, DRA on. Now I think we're going to be a little bit late leaving this station, only due to the fact that we arrived 30 seconds late. Yeah, see, we're a few seconds late leaving. So we'll take that off now. Use the train door close internal button this time. Alright, Hayes and Harlington. Alright, here we come then. Away notch 5 now because we are running a little bit behind, although you should never rush on the railway. That's the biggest takeaway, never rush on the railway. But we have a timetable to keep, and this is the virtual railway, so we'll do as we want. So for those of you that have just joined us, when we get to London Paddington this time, I will be ending the stream to go and have some lunch, but I will be back on this evening, so make sure you follow. Hey Tokay, excellent news that you have this game as well. How do you find it? Do you play on PC, Xbox, PlayStation? So yeah, when I get to Paddington I will be nipping off for some lunch, but there will be an evening stream, so make sure you follow or do whatever it is that you want to do on Twitch, and come and join me for the evening stream. I'm not sure whether we're going to do Great Western, East Coastway, West Somerset Railway, Trans-Pennine, do a bit of freight on the Tees Valley. Let me know. Let me know what you want to see and I'll happily play. I do have all the DLC for this, just so you know guys, but I haven't done any of the American stuff or the French stuff or the German stuff for quite some time, so it'll be going back to school, so we'll probably end up doing the tutorial and the scenarios. Yeah, I'm playing on Xbox Series X, so I'm an Xbox player. Yeah, it runs a lot better on the next generation 2K. Is that how I pronounce it? 2K? 2K? So you'll have a lot to look forward to when you do finally get your hands on a PlayStation. It runs at 60 frames a second all of the time on the Xbox Series X. There you go, I've just given you a view of the frame rate counter just underneath the speed. It doesn't run at 120 frames a second, no, because the Unreal Engine 4 for Train Sim is capped at an unlocked 6. Well, it's capped at 60, but it's unlocked to 60. So you can't force it to 120 on the Xbox, but at 60 it's pretty smooth. Just turn that off now. It does dip down, but it mainly holds at 60. Right, here we go, Hayes and Harlington. Our next station call. Change here for connections with London Underground services. And Elizabeth line trains to Heathrow. I honestly don't know what they've got planned. They're just deciding on what routes they're going to do this year, or start developing this year. Because they're introducing steam at some point this year, like steam trains. You've got southeastern high speed for the UK coming out probably the beginning of February. Which I will be all over when that's released. You will see me stream that quite a lot. But I do believe they are looking at other countries in Europe. Don't hold me to that though. But I do think they're looking at more, not obscure countries, that's the wrong word, but lesser known railways. I think you're going to see an Australian route at some point, which will be quite interesting because they've got huge freight trains. I think you're going to see quite a lot more American passenger routes as well this year, and I think you're going to see a few more mainland Europe. I'm hoping for a Eurostar one myself, but anyway, where we go now? Southall. Is that where you're from then, Tukey? 2K? Holland? If I'm honest, I didn't actually know you had any large railways. I thought it was all sort of trams and metro style. I do think you are going to see a West Coast mainline route, excuse me, for the UK as well. I think they're going to release that as they've released it on Train Simulator 2021. I think you're going to see it come to Train Sim World 2 because it's high speed passenger and freight as everything you get on this one. We arrived on time, which is always nice. Oh right, well, it's been years since I've been to Amsterdam, but are they metro trains or are they mainline trains? So by mainline trains I mean sort of like the HSTs that you see, the high speed trains that you see on this one. Not that one coming towards us, that's a Class 166, that's a metro type train. Right, Ealing Broadway. So we've got a little 3-mile jaunt up the main line now. Oh right, okay. I know you have a TGV service, or like a high-speed service that goes to Paris. Is that right? I can remember seeing it when I got the Eurostar to Disneyland Paris. And you can also get the Eurostar there from London when we're not in a lockdown or in the middle of a COVID outbreak. Right, we're heading a 80-mile-an-hour speed permanent speed restriction. Good old Hanwell. Right, so we're at 1.5 miles from the station, so throttling off. I do occasionally play car games. I don't stream them so much, but I do play Assetto Corsa Competizione, Forza Horizon 4, Project Cars 2. But the only reason I don't stream them is because I can't actually reach the streaming computer from where I sit and play them, because I have a proper racing setup, wheel and pedals and etc. Right, put our brakes in. Probably a little bit late there. Might have to apply a little bit more as we get towards the station. I can guarantee you that's the 1309 come whistling past us there that we went to do, but we'd been waiting around at Reading too long. Ooh. What's that for? You think I'm 24 years old? I wish I was. For a 30. So these platforms over here are for the London Underground. Got your third rail and your fourth rail. And again, don't go playing on the railway. So I think the next stop will be London Paddington. And we're pretty much back on time. So hopefully we'll be right time into Paddington. Where are you going? Oh, sit down on the bench with your wonky animation. Right, away we go. London Paddington. Next station. As we approach the Acton reception sidings off to the left. It's where you'll find aggregate services, intermodal services, starting points in the game. I think we might do a little bit of freight this evening, as that's what I drive in real life. Maybe do a few of the intermodal services. Acton Mainline station. Not many trains stop here in the actual timetabled game. I think there's only one or two, which is a bit silly considering quite a lot of the freight starts there. Right, so we're at 80, which is the line speed. But we are going to be going down to a 50 miles an hour permanent speed restriction in a minute. As we're approaching Old Oak Common and assorted carriage sidings. So there we go, we're at 50. The HST still sat over there. That was when we went down to Reading over 2 hours ago. So we're still proceeding towards London Paddington, but the railway really slows down now. because we are getting to a very, very busy junction and everything, so the railway just slows down so that everybody's slowing down towards Paddington. Dropping into Paddington now. It down to 40, so that's what the line is going to. Now I believe, as you see all this building work here, that was the start of work for HS2. Putting bits and pieces in for Old Oak. Need to slow down for 25 mile an hour now. We are now on our final approach to London Paddington. Excuse me. That alert is for the single yellow ahead of us. There's Royal Oak Tube Station. Right, we're going into platform 10. Approaching at 25 miles an hour. Due to the fact that we're not careering in at 40 and then braking heavily for 25, we will arrive slightly later than the booked time. This is a dead-end platform, this one. So we have arrived safely. 10 mile an hour towards the stops. Don't want to trigger anything off. There we go. So we have a few bits to go through here. Tail lights. Oh. There we go. Turn that off. Turn that off. Oh, no. So that's all of that's the cab shut down now. As this train is going to be going back the other way, I'll just pull the driver's blind down. And there we go. We have to relock the doors. And that is our objective complete. Took just under an hour. Everything was pretty good. A diamond rating. We'll take that. Now we'll get off. Check that we've got the red lights on. Yep, there we go. Well, thank you very much for watching. Make sure you follow, and I will be back on later this evening. Take care, see you soon.
Platform 14 for the 1757 Great Western Railway service to Chelsea. 57 Great Western Railway service to Chelsea. 57 Great Western Railway service to Chelsea. 57 Great Western Railway service to Goring Streatley and Chelsea. This